Hello, this is Ryan Zachos with Zachos Realty here out of Sarasota, Florida. I'm a real estate broker and started this firm with my dad about 5 years ago. You probably know that if you've seen some of our videos. In today's video, I'm going to talk about a topic that you hear circulating, whether it's YouTube, blogs, or Google. Is the real estate market going to crash? It's something that we get asked often. There's a lot of hesitancy and concern regarding the real estate market at a national level. I'm going to talk to you today about the local market, what that looks like for 2023, my predictions, and then I'm going to back those predictions up with actual data, with stats, and you will know exactly why I think what I think regarding this. I believe 2023 presents a far different market and outlook than it did in 2022. I think that there'll be slower sales, there's going to be affordability challenges, pressure on home sales, interest rates, corporate layoffs, and other questions about the economy, and then obviously slowing employment trends as well. So all this is going to affect the housing market here on a local level. 2022 was a very hot market, especially Q1, Q2. It slowed down through Q3, Q4. I think that will continue to slow regarding the housing market and throughout 2023. The existing home sales remain in a slump as owners stick with their low rate mortgages and choose not to move. Been the case for Q3, Q4, and because of that, inventory will stay low. I do not expect a sharp increase in housing inventory in 2023. As I just mentioned, we expect fewer owners to put their homes in the market, and a lot of that stemmed from them having low interest rates and affordability challenge with those higher interest rates. The affordability, rent versus own, could return to average levels with a modest decline in mortgage rates and home prices. I think we might see a tick down in interest rates. We saw a tick up actually in the last week or two, but I think it will trend down toward the end of the year. And then especially as the economy does dip, if employment trends suffer, there's some layoffs, I think that the mortgage rates will be lowered to boost the economy again, and that will actually help the housing market. So housing construction will continue to shift to greater density. We've already seen a lot of business in this realm. We have a lot of clients that we're working with that are looking for multi-generational living, multi-family living. Because of the affordability challenges, there's a lot of homeowners now that are partnering up with their parents or in-laws or cousins or brothers or sisters or whatever it may be, friends, family, that are pooling their resources together in order to afford a home. I see this trend continuing throughout 2023 with these affordability challenges, that people are going to be targeting multi-gen situations and then multi-family. And I think the builders will actually start thinking more that way. We're already seeing these big builders, Medallion, Lennar, D.R. Horton, starting to build models with multi-gen suites or multi-family living situations or mother-in-law suites, whatever you want to call it. But they're already planning and building this way. And we'll see that trend continue. And then obviously developers and builders focusing more on higher density population stuff instead of single family home approach. So we'll see more apartments, condos, and townhomes start to arise locally and on a national level too. We favor home builders over building products, as many home builders trade at a discount to book value, whereas building products companies have risk from the exposure to slowing turnover and the impact of lower homeowner confidence and the pressure of home prices. I think also that home improvement will be spending and is likely to fall into the double-digit percentage, so maybe 10% or more. I think this is going to be a byproduct of having less turnover in housing. If we have less transactions, less sales, then obviously people, when they do buy homes, they invest in those homes. They will customize those homes. They'll update those homes. With a lack of sales transactions, people having that housing turnover will see a decrease in the labor costs as well as the home supply piece, which will then probably hurt some of these big box retailers and home supply companies or building supply companies. It could hurt their stocks and therefore obviously lead to a downward trend economically. I think that will be kind of a prediction that I'll have for 2023. Now diving directly right into the stats and why I believe those predictions are going to come to fruition as they did Q3, Q4 of 2022. So as a baseline that I'm using for this, so you know where I'm getting this data from, it's all of Sarasota, Manatee County, single family homes. I use single family homes as a great marker. I'm not looking at condos, I'm not looking at townhomes, but looking at just single family homes in the two counties in which we primarily do most of our business. That being said, closed sales are an indicator that I like to use, and it's one of the most simplest but most effective indicators. Actual trends are more accurately represented in year-over-year changes than comparing month-to-month sales. So, obviously there's a lot of seasonality that, especially here locally, there's a lot more change and not consistency when you're looking at month-to-month stuff. So you can't compare a December to January or January to April or whatever it may be. You got to look at true year-over-year comparison. And that's what I'll do here to kind of show you exactly where we stand in comparison to the previous year in the same month. So December was down 36% in sales transactions. So the number of transactions were down 36% in comparison to December 2021. November was down 44%, and 2022 as a total was down about 24% in total number of sales transactions. I think it's a staggering number. I was actually shocked when pulling that. Now that we're sitting here in the first week of February, I'm excited to see kind of where January is looking, if it's going to stay on that trend. I just in the last week or so have personally seen an uptick in inquiries and people reaching out, and I think that's indicative of obviously the seasonality aspect of real estate here locally. But I do think it's a staggering number to see that the transactions are down 30-40% in the last couple of months in comparison to the year prior. Couple that obviously with inventory still being low. We'll dive into that in a second. But median sale is our preferred summary statistic for price activity, because unlike average sale price, median sale price is not sensitive to high sale prices for small numbers of homes that may not be characteristic in the market. For example, if we sell something that's 25 million, it could throw the numbers way off on the average sale price. We basically look to the median because it just takes the super high, super low sales. The median sale price is up 25% for the year. It's over 500,000 currently. I think we're sitting somewhere around that 505,000 mark. But interestingly enough, it's actually down from June, July. With that low inventory in Q1, Q2, it really drove that sale price up. We know inventory was super low Q1, Q2. And with a lack of supply and the demand being there, it drove that price way up. I think it hit around 525 June, July, and then now we're back down to 505. But it still is 25% up for year over year, and ending the year. Still a big number, and it's still, as you can see, it's not down a ton. It is down a little bit from halfway through the year, but it's still a strong market. Median percent of list price is the next thing we're going to talk about. It's useful as an indicator of market recovery, since it typically rises as buyers realize that the market may be moving away from them and they need to match the selling price or better it in order to get a contract on the house. This is usually the last measure to indicate the market has shifted from down to up, so it is what we call a lagging indicator. So what that means is it was listed at, let's call it 500, it was sold at 500. So it's sold for 100% of that list price, and that was the norm from January through July of 2022. It was right at 100%, and for Q3, Q4 of 2022, it was hovering in the high 90s. So 96%, I believe, is where it kind of ended the year. So you can see that with the more inventory, sellers are negotiating more than they have, especially since Q1, Q2. And with that negotiation, stuff is selling at a discounted rate from list price. That doesn't necessarily mean the market's shifting down. It just means that there is more negotiation than there has been and a lot more options or inventory for that. Now, diving into inventory and active listings, we are up 93% for the year, and talking about ending 2022, we're up 93% from the previous year. December was up 236% in just December. If you look at December of 2021, the inventory was sitting at about half a month, I believe. And then it was sitting at around 3 to end 2022. It's whatever that is, 5-6 times the inventory. But just so you know, a balanced market is about 5.5 months. So we're still way under that 5.5 months in inventory. And like I talked about my prediction earlier, because of the high interest rates and because of the lack of supply, even though it's a lot more than we did previously, but because of that, a lot of people can't put their house on the market. There's affordability challenges there in selling and buying a home again. They're stuck in their homes. So I do believe inventory is going to stay low, which means our price point's probably going to stay pretty strong. I don't see a huge fall off in the economy. And a lot of people are using clickbait and saying the market's going to crash and all those kind of predictions. But just because these high interest rates and the lack of people being able to sell their home and get into something at an affordable level, just because of that in and of itself, I think that we're going to see a hold at these low inventory numbers, which means that we're not going to see these huge price reductions. We might see a little bit here throughout 2023, a little bit of price reduction, and that median sale price come down a hair, but I don't think it's going to be a drastic number by any means. And that's the data, that's the stats, that's where I stand, that's the predictions I have for 2023. I look forward to hearing your thoughts, your concerns, your questions. I would love to be a resource for you in real estate. If you have any questions at all, please reach out. I'd be happy to help. Thank you. Talk to you soon.